Hello, my name is Margaret Satterthwaite, and I'm the UN Special Rapporteur on the independence of judges and lawyers. I'm grateful to the Observatoire International des Avocats en Danger for inviting me to speak to the General Assembly today. I'm extremely concerned about the dangers faced by lawyers worldwide, particularly the existence of pervasive and increasing efforts to target lawyers for their work. This includes both their professional work as lawyers and their work as human rights defenders. Threats against lawyers arise for a multitude of different reasons. Often lawyers are victimized because they represent unpopular or disfavored groups and individuals, whether these are opponents of the ruling regime, marginalized or discriminated against communities, or people acting to hold the government to account. Lawyers may also be attacked because of their work threatens powerful interests, political interests, corporate interests, or the interest of powerful and wealthy individuals. I will speak today about three particular forms of attack. Those are harassment and threats of violence, the instrumentalization of disciplinary sanctions, and lastly, the misuse of legal system to criminalize lawyers for doing their job. In December 2023, I wrote to the government of Colombia regarding the lawyer Germán Romero. Mr. Romero had been representing numerous victims of serious human rights violations and other crimes perpetrated mainly by state security forces. He acted in proceedings to investigate the responsibility of high-ranking Colombian military commanders, some of which have been brought before the Special Jurisdiction for Peace. Mr. Romero has received death threats and has been subject to multiple and repeated acts of surveillance, harassment, and intimidation. Some of the threatening phone calls Mr. Romero received even made reference to his family, including his children. It is vital that states take adequate measures to investigate such acts and that they provide protection to lawyers who are under threat and to their families. I wrote to the government of Equatorial Guinea in March 2024 to express my concerns about the treatment of lawyer Gemma Jones, who was suspended from practice as a result of a TikTok video she posted describing shortcomings in the justice system and calling for greater judicial independence. This sanction was imposed on Ms. Jones on the basis of irregular statutes and without following any proper or fair procedure. Lawyers are entitled to enjoy the same freedom of expression, association, and peaceful assembly as other citizens, and disciplinary actions against lawyers must be heard before an impartial disciplinary committee or tribunal and subject to independent judicial review. In September 2023, I wrote to the Guatemalan government regarding the case of Claudia Gonzalez. Ms. Gonzalez is a renowned lawyer and defender of justice operators, including former prosecutors and judges, who also worked for many years at the International Commission Against Impunity in Guatemala. In 2023, she was the recipient of the prestigious Lawyers for Lawyers Award for defending human rights defenders despite a high risk to her safety and life. But in August of the same year, she was accused of the crime of abuse of authority in relation to her work with the CICIG. Her home was searched and she was arrested and held in pretrial detention for several months. I have expressed concern that the judicial process against Ms. Gonzalez could constitute an act of retaliation for the work she did at the CICIG, as well as her work to defend lawyers and justice operators. This case appears to be part of a wider pattern of criminal proceedings against judicial officials in Guatemala as a result of their work on cases of corruption or human rights violations. This is despite the requirement enshrined in the UN Basic Principles on the Role of Lawyers that lawyers shall not be subject to prosecution or administrative, economic, or other sanctions for any action taken in accordance with recognized professional duties, standards, and ethics. In addition to violating international human rights provisions, attacks on lawyers risk undermining the operation of the justice system, the rule of law, and the functioning of democratic societies. They can have a chilling effect, discouraging other lawyers from representing particular clients or bringing cases designed to check the powerful and hold governments to account. The OIAD plays a vital role in resisting such attacks, in monitoring and investigating the situation of advocates in danger, providing emergency support to individuals, and where appropriate, bringing case to the attention of international mechanisms, such as the special procedures of the UN Human Rights Council, of which my mandate forms one part. Because the story doesn't end with attacks on lawyers. Despite many dangers and violations they face, lawyers are fighting back. They're fighting back by continuing to carry out their professional duties in the face of threats and intimidation. And they're fighting back by speaking out against rights violations and by representing their fellow lawyers when they fall victim to reprisals. In January 2024, I was honored to participate in an event organized by the OIAD, IBARI, the Geneva Bar, and the Law Society of England and Wales on the Day of the Endangered Lawyer, dedicated to Iran. It was inspiring to hear of lawyers' brave commitment to the rule of law and their persistent efforts to exercise their profession independently and with integrity, despite enormous obstacles and pressures. Many of you who are present at the General Assembly will be representatives of national, regional, or international bar associations. I want to take this opportunity to stress how essential independent bar associations are to the protection of lawyers and the representation of their interests. As part of this work, I urge you to please bring cases to the attention of my mandate where appropriate. Thank you for your time, and I wish you the best with your important discussions. Thank you.